Welcome to Business Brains, a platform I created based on being an entrepreneur and business you are interested in based on a matter of importance to you. This is part 3. Rachel Drysdale, founder of Fire Alchemy. She goes into the intricacies of owning a business and more besides.
And that was for me very much alchemizing. So I wanted alchemy to be in there to represent that part. Then fire, I knew I wanted one of the elements in there, and fire seemed to be about right because we also are we sell one of London's biggest kind of crystal collections. So I really wanted fire in there as well, because that's, you know, the pressure, the heat of the earth is what, you know, brings these gorgeous crystals you know, from the earth and, you know, into essentially a place in the sediment where they can be mined. So that's kind of how the fire kind of is, I guess, around the empowerment as well of people, but also around like the crystals that we sell. And then the alchemy is all about how we're helping people transform.
So explain the organisation. So basically, you came back, you decided, it was, did you say December, what year, 20?
I opened in December 22, but I had the idea on the 30th of April 2022. So there wasn't much of a time between having the idea and then kind of really, you know, us launching or us, you know, opening. We opened quite softly at first. Cool. But what happened was I basically had got to a point at work where I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I love my job. But again, I was constantly like, God, is this it? Like, there is something else I'm supposed to be doing. And over the last previous few years, you know, I'd done things like nutrition coaching, and I'd learned to be a nutrition coach, emotional eating psychology coach. I'd done a few things on the side, and none of them had really resonated for me to take into a business. So I knew that actually there was something else for me, and I knew it was going to be in the holistic and well-being space. That was always a given because that's what I was into. I've always been into that, and I've always been into spirituality as well. And when I had the idea, I think at that point I'd been a bit like, well, look, the spiritual world or the self-development world is actually quite lonely. Like when you start kind of entering this stuff and going into this stuff, especially, you know, a few years ago, it definitely wasn't as mainstream as it is now. But, you know, people do look at you like, you know, you're a bit bonkers if you try to talk to people about, you know, I'm going to a sound bath, I'm going to a sound healing event, you know, I'm going to a trauma release workshop. People were literally just like, what the hell are you talking about? And I was basically...
do that, please. Give us kind of like a brief synopsis of your organisation. So it's Fire Alchemy. Whereabouts is it? You know, just, you know, I think you mentioned a wellness sanctuary in Shoreditch and so on. Go for it. So Fire Alchemy.
So we're essentially an alternative wellbeing and spiritual sanctuary in Shoreditch. So in terms of like our actual physical business, we have London's first Sacred Cacao Bar. We have we're across 2 floors. So our Sacred Cacao Bar and our retail area is on the kind of ground floor, and then we have a studio we do about 2 to 3, sometimes 4 wellness events per day. So people can come to us for like spiritual events, well-being events, breath work, meditation, yoga, all the way to things like group shamanic work, astrology learning events, tarot learning events, past life regression events, all kinds of different things. Sound healing is one of our biggest things. So that could be like a gong bath, or what we call like a sound journey. And people use different instruments like sound bowls, crystal sound bowls and gongs and things like that to help heal. And then we do some trauma release stuff. We do a lot around empowerment. We do a lot of like women's circles, men's circles. We do all kinds of different events. And we do a lot of charity events as well. So we have the event space, which is where sort of, you know, all of our sessions really take place. Then we have our space, which is our Sacred Cacao Bar and Coffee House. And then we sell like a huge amount of crystals, ethically sourced crystals, and lots of different wellness products as well.
So Sacred Cacao Bar, what is that exactly? Why is it called sacred? I mean, cacao's chocolate, I'll take it. What's the sacredness? Where did all of that come in?
So for us with sacred cacao for us means that it's non-processed cacao, and you're absolutely right. Chocolate is made from cacao, and we use 100% cacao in our obviously our Sacred Cacao Bar, which means as well that nothing has been processed. There's no roasting involved. There's no additives added. Everything is just made in a very pure way. Now, Mayan culture, or South American culture generally, have always used sacred cacao. So they've always used this unprocessed cacao in things like ceremonies, for things like celebrations. And from a shamanic perspective, kind of, you would connect to the wisdom of a plant, right? Or a herb or something like that. And the idea is that cacao also brings its own wisdom. So you take the cacao, you drink the cacao, and you do it slowly, and you do it with intention. And any wisdom that comes to you, amazing. But we also use it in ceremonies, what we call cacao ceremonies. Okay, so we have a number of different types of cacao, and for me personally, sacredness doesn't just end with the how the cacao is prepared, how it's brought from cacao to bag. For me, sacredness is also about the origins of the cacao. It's all about like where it's from, how it's used, who, and I think this is especially important in this day and age, who it is that's getting the cacao for us. So we use this incredible brand called Cacao Love. Massive snaps to them, they're incredible. They use a cooperative in Peru, because our cacao is from Peru. They use a cooperative there, and they're the only co-op in the country that are indigenously owned, run. They've got, they're just an incredible organization who are giving back to the local community where we're getting this cacao from, right? So and that for me is so important. Like every single thing in Fire Alchemy is, it's responsibly sourced. So everything, like down to our gift bags that we give out, down to our cups, everything's biodegradable or recyclable. So so to have like these amazing organizations as part of our culture is incredible. Like I'm so proud of that, and that's something that's deep in our ethos. So we have the Cacao Bar as well, and we have 6 different types of cacao, and we collab with another amazing organization called 8 Within, and Ifeanyi, who runs 8 Within, is just a most beautiful soul. So we have these different types of cacao, and we are the first cacao bar in London.
Oh. So how is it going? So it's under 2 years?
Under 2 years. So we have like 5 different parts of the business. We've got the Cacao Bar, that's going well. Obviously, we've just relaunched it, and we've added new flavors and things like that. And we're trying to kind of really educate people. Like if people go onto our website, which I'll do a little plug, is fireandalchemy.com.
Actually.
Yeah, so if you go onto fireandalchemy.com, there is a tab there called Cacao, like on the main navigation bar, and there's all of our cacao products, plus as well any kind of it's a sort of frequently asked questions page, which gives so much information about where cacao comes from, how it's what the traditional origins of the cacao ceremonies were, why we do cacao ceremonies, how to prepare your cacao. Like there's all kinds of really interesting information on there. So if anyone's got queries about cacao, that's where I'd say to first head in that direction. So we've got like our Cacao Bar, we've got our products, we've got our events, we've also got one-to-ones that we do, we've got online classes as well, online courses, we do facilitator training. So if people are looking to become a meditation instructor, we offer that. If they're looking to become a sound healing practitioner, we also offer in-person trainings for that as well. And then we have our corporate arm that we don't really talk kind of too much about like on our website or anything yet, but we do a lot with corporates as well.
So, sorry, did you say all of the names of the cacao? So, something to mention, I was probably going to mention it, but I can't help myself. I did try the cacao. I love my chocolate, and I have to admit, I did find it a tad bitter. However, when I read somewhere about mixing it with almond milk, oh my goodness, it's amazing. And the next thing I'm going to say, I'm actually frightened to say the next bit, because I feel like I'm lying, but I know I'm not lying. I have had living pain in my knee for the past... give it a couple of weeks, let's say 2 or 3 weeks. And I know it's to do with inflammation. It's a long story. And seriously, I am waiting for my knee to hurt. every time I do something tomorrow, I keep thinking, hold on a minute, when I normally do this, like normally hurts. Normally, I'm waiting for it to hurt me. And I'm thinking, how come it's not hurting? And I'm thinking, is it me? Is it me just being, I don't know, talking to you and it's just stopped all of a sudden? Or is it this cacao? Is it this? Because honestly, I am not lying. I am not lying to you. I've tried everything. I'm trying, because pain relief, cocodamol, ibuprofen, everything. It's sort of even a kind of like a cream, even a kind of tiger balm kind of thing. And it's all so. And seriously, I actually can move my leg. So I don't know.
Well, that's amazing.
I don't know if it's like a psychological thing or not. But anyway, so you were talking about the cacao. So you got the cacao on its own, and you got different flavors you mentioned, didn't you?
Yeah, we do have different flavors. The other thing as well, the cacao can help with things like that. The cacao, obviously, we talk about it from like a ceremonial perspective, and we talk about like, some of the origins of it and things like that. But actually, in terms of scientifics, the cacao is full of amazing health benefits. Some people might have also have seen that it was on Dragon's Den back in January, and the guy got investment. I think that's Full Power Cacao, but he got investment for that, and he talked a lot then about the health side of cacao rather than the kind of more spiritual or development side, or kind of talking about the indigenous roots of cacao. But he really went hard on like what it is that it does to you, and it's an incredible plant medicine, because essentially it comes from the earth, as most of our medicines do.
There is. I don't care what anyone tells me, because my knee's not hurting me at the moment.
That's amazing. I'm so glad.
I'm so glad. It hurts. Seriously, I'm actually trying to purposely make it hurt me. So I'm thinking, it doesn't make sense. I'm moving it around and it's not hurting. And it can't be that quick that this kind of thing can work.
But,
the cacao, so it hasn't got any sugar in it.
No, so it's 100% like cacao. So when you get like dairy milk, or you get like Nestle or whatever, that's got stuff that is, they've so added so much of that. Plus, let me add this, because I feel really strongly about this. The companies that supply our biggest chocolate labels, and we all know who they are, right? They are not necessarily getting their chocolate in an ethical way that is beneficial to the communities that they're taking their chocolate from. And I think that is disgusting. And I think as well that if people knew kind of exactly what was happening in the chocolate industry, and that's not necessarily in the cacao industry, that's the chocolate industry, I think a lot of people would go, you know what, I'm going to use my dollar to tell people, like, to explain how I feel about this, and I'm boycotting chocolate.
Give us an example of that. Obviously, I don't want to get in trouble for saying the names, but we know the names of all of the other chocolates and so on, the sort of big names. So yours is done in that way, and it helps the community where you get it from. Whereas the 100%. Big names, how they get the chocolate, what do they do differently?
I think that's actually a whole topic for like another chat. But I would say to people, and also I can't, I don't really want to go into like how bad it is, but people are being violated, put it that way. Wow. And I think if people want to find out more, there's stuff online about the violation that people make in what we call big chocolate. Like we talk about big pharma, or we talk about big like FMG or whatever. I mean,
it's good on you that you're not bad mouth another organisation. You leave it to the sort of listener to do their own research. But I'm definitely going to do my own research. But I'm going to be drinking more of that and not feeling guilty about it. So one of the things you mentioned when you were speaking about the cacao, so I kept you on it quite a long time. But you did mention about you do classes, one that you can go to, and you also did ones where you could teach people to actually deliver the class themselves. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So practitioner training, we do a lot of that. Cool. So we teach people how to do things like learn to give meditation classes, learn to hold sound healing classes, that sort of thing.
Wow. That's quite amazing, actually. So for people out there that want to start their own thing, because
they want to learn. We help them,
they want to learn something that's going to benefit them, and then they can then one, benefit themselves, and two, they could probably start their own kind of practice. Is that right?
100%. 100%.
That is really good.
Yeah.
In terms of you starting this in general, what gave you this sort of business idea? I mean, is anyone in your family business minded? Did you just bring this up, based on the different sort of jobs that you were doing? You were managing different accounts and so on. You're obviously working in law firms, and add all of that together, I'm sure there's a little bit of business knowledge that you got from there. Or was it that someone in your family perhaps kind of started their own business and you learnt from them?
Okay, so interestingly, my mum has her own business. I wouldn't say she has her own business so much as she's self-employed, but I this sounds crazy. I've never spoken to her about her business, like about her
Wow.
structure or anything like that. I've never talked to her about that. She is like, she is a self-employed holistic practitioner. And she's always been extremely successful. She's ex-directory. So whenever I talk about social media and how much time it takes, how much money you have to put into it and all of that, she's just like, I have no understanding of it. She's not even like on Facebook. She's completely like word of mouth and that's it. So she doesn't
Wow.
have to do things like I do, which is around like advertising, getting the name out there, doing all the things. She's not doing any of that. So actually, in terms of like her influence, she's always said to me, you can be whatever you want and you can do whatever it is that you choose to. Now, having that mindset from a really young age, that's probably quite fundamental to people, to be able to know that you have the support of, your family,
Yeah.
when you're going into something, especially if it is a bit different, that's really fundamental. But she's always said you can do it, and as also ingrained, like, if you think you can, you will. If you think you
Yes.
can't, you
I
won't.
love some
Like,
of those little sayings. Yeah, I love
like
that.
mindset is
Yeah.
mindset's like 90% of the work, I think. But yeah, so she has got her own business kind of, but she's a sole, she's a practitioner of her own, and she's very, very well known, but only because she's been doing this for so long. She is bloody good. She's really good. But also she is really, she's always been booked out. So people will talk about her. And I remember going to something years and years ago, like a healing session or something.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was. It might have been a sound bath. I don't know. And I mentioned my name to someone, and they came over and they said, "Are you so and so's daughter?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And they said, "My God, I've been trying to see your mum for over a year." And I
Wow.
was like, wow, okay. And this woman was just like, she's incredible. Like, everyone says how amazing it is that she does. And, she's incredible, like, no denying it. But from a business perspective, like, we're on different, it's completely different. I'm all about, okay, how do I get the name out there? How do I get the
Yes.
best practitioners?
Yeah.
All those kind of things, and more about business structure. And she really is just like, she's just got people coming out, everywhere saying, I want to work with you. Can I work with you? Can I work with you? So it's very, very different.
She must be really proud of you.
I don't, yeah, she says that she is. She says that she is, but she's still always like, she's more encouraging really than kind of praising. Like, she'll always kind of be a bit like, of course, like, there are always going to be those days where you have really rough weeks, really rough weeks. And she'll always just be like, you'll be absolutely fine. You can do this, you know exactly what you're doing. And she's just, you can do anything if you've got the right mindset.
Cool. That's the way to be. That is fantastic. What's
Mm.
the day in the life of you doing your job? Because I didn't realise that you were kind of accredited. I just thought you had the business idea and then you kind of like brought people in to do the bits that they're experienced in, and then they then do certain classes and also teach people to sort of become
100%.
practitioners themselves. But what's the day in the life of you? Do you do any classes yourself, or do you do all the, what's it, invigilating type things?
Yeah, so interesting you asked that. So I don't do any classes. I don't host any classes here at the moment. I don't have the headspace for that. I don't have the patience for that at the moment. I'm still in like growth mode. So for me, we've got over 70 amazing, that's 70, amazing
Wow.
practitioners. And I'm
Wow.
obviously biased, but we have the best practitioners in London working with us. And I'm so blessed every day that they are working with us, that they choose to hold events with us. We have amazing co-collaboration. How we all work together is just delightful. I'm so blessed and lucky, and it's on the top of my gratitude list every single day, the people that work with me and that choose to work here. So that's incredible. But my a day in my life, my gosh, what could that be? Literally, it could be like, a day full of meetings. We could have an event with one of our partnerships. We partner with a really esteemed organization, and we take our events over there and we run their wellness schedule, which is incredible, So we do that, which is lovely. So I could be over there at like 6 o'clock in the morning getting ready for one of their events.
Wow.
And there's going to like dinners in the wellness community that they, people might set up and invite you to. It might be going to exhibitions and shows and things like that where you're talking to people about wellness. And obviously we're trying to promote Fire Alchemy and all of the wellness stuff that we do, not just within our walls, but also outside, because we have this corporate presence where we take our events and our practitioners and things to other organisations or to festivals or to hotels or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of that. There could be, meetings with people around PR or about social media. But then there's also the other things where I'll go into the studio and I'll see, the blankets need to be re-rolled, right? So, and I'll do that. It's about at this stage. Well. Of course, absolutely. Like for ages, I didn't have any staff. So for the first 9 months, there was no staff at all.
That was my next question. Because I saw it on your site, meet the team or something like that. I was thinking there was a picture of you beneath that, meet the team. And I was thinking, is it just you, one-man band?
No, we've got a really good team. So as well as the 70 practitioners odd that work here, it might be more like 75 now, but as well as the practitioners that we have that are doing all of the events, whether that be in F&A or outside of F&A, we also have our management team. So there's obviously there's me, but I also have a right-hand woman called Erica who works with me. She's just amazing. She's the person that keeps me sane. She's our head of operations. So she does a lot of like kind of the management of our events and also of our practitioners, and she just keeps things running, like ticking along, and she's incredible. Like we couldn't do what we achieve without her. And then we have Tala's she's also a yoga instructor, but she helps with some of the sort of programming for our weekly classes, and she actually used to work kind of in the Cacao Bar and as like a shop assistant and stuff like that, but she's incredible. She also is ex-law firm, so she came from the corporate industry as well. So she works with us and I absolutely adore her. We also have Matthew, who helps he runs sort of the kind of the Cacao Bar and sort of the in-store piece. And then we have Sid as well. And Sid is also someone that works in our Cacao Bar and our store and helps run the studio.
This is an amazing organisation. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I mean, the people that work with us, as I said, I'm so blessed to have them. Literally, the people who work for your organisation are the people who can make or break your entire business.
Yeah. Are you seeing the perspective now? Let's say when you were working, obviously I don't want to bring you back to bad memories, BT Tower, like when you work for someone, when you then are the person in charge and then you've got people working for you, do you then sort of think, I can see why some managers act in a certain way because, of course, you're eating out of my profits if you don't do the work I expect you to do, that kind of a thing. How does it make you think differently? The fact you've got your own organisation, you've got people working for you.
The answer to my question is no. I think there is some behaviour in organisations that I've seen over the years that I believe is truly impassable. Literally, I think when you run your own organisation and you have staff, so much of it is down to good training. It's picking the right personalities, but then it's also about training. If they're doing something that isn't right, tell them and train them up on how you want it to be done. Because actually a lot of the things that, I'm really pernickety. Some of the things that I ask people, I want them to roll blankets in a certain way. I want it all to look really uniform. All the things that my staff probably roll their eyes at occasionally, but they don't mind doing it because they know that it's important to me and we've got a really good working relationship. I think that if they've got issues, they'll come to me and talk to me about things, even in their personal lives or whatever, or, they're not scared to express themselves. And we fostered. No, and Erica does the exact same. Erica's also an incredible support to both our practitioners and the people that work, because this is just it. Although we've got a team, a small team, we've also got 70 practitioners that we're looking after too. So it's bigger than it sounds.
This is massive.
But you don't this. I genuinely believe that you don't need to be a tyrant to get things done the way that
Yeah.
you want them to be done. Like, it just is a case of training, it's a case of hiring the right people, it's a case of how you hire people as well. That's really important. And then it's training, it's having an open forum where your staff can come to you and say, hey, I've got an idea, or hey, you know what, I've seen that we didn't do particularly well yesterday in sales. What can we do today to make that better? It's that kind of thing.
You're thinking, as I was thinking something. So I was basically going to say, what's footfall like? Profitability in terms of people coming in and all of that kind of stuff. And you basically said, your staff even sort of recognise that themselves and.
But that's through training. That's through training. So they all know, that every staff member who comes on board, they know what a daily target is. In the Cacao Bar and the retail area, they know what that looks like. Every single day, they know who's coming in, they know the clients that are coming in, they know the practitioners that are coming in. So that was training, right? And that's also trusting your staff and being open with them enough to say, look, this is how much we need to earn today to keep the lights on. Preferably we want to earn this much, but this is how much we have to take.
And they get it as you.
And I think they see, I'd like to think, I don't know if this is true, I think they see my passion. It kind of rubs off a bit. But they also, all of them love spirituality. All of them love self-development. So they all want to be here. That's the other thing. We opened up a position and we got something within 24 or 48 hours. We had something 54, applications.
Wow.
We put it on Instagram. Look, we are looking to hire. And we had all these people say, oh my God, I'd love to work for Fire Alchemy. And that's probably the biggest compliment you can have, is when people come in and they say, have you got any job vacancies? Because I love this place. I want to work here. I want to be a part of it.
That's a big compliment, Rachel. But also, when I was looking at your site, what is an amazing compliment as well is the number of reviews that you got. Was I looking correct? Look, I think there was over 100 reviews and most of them were 5-star.
I think on Google. I can't remember how. I don't actually know, if I'm honest.
Reviews. Considering that you haven't been open for that long. That's amazing.
I've got a lot of reviews.
Don't worry, I'm not after a job or anything. I'm happy to do where I'm working for the NHS and I'm doing what I'm doing right now to do, this is just some sort of sideline idea of mine. So I'm not sort of saying, oh, I want to come for a job. It's different type of environment than mine. But I think you're doing amazing. Go on, sorry, what you're saying?
Thank you. Yeah, it's the reviews are always really good. That's really, really nice. The biggest thing, another compliment that you kind of go, okay, this is why we do it, is when people come out of an event and they've released some level of trauma, or they've done some level of healing, or they've released some anxiety, or something like that. They come out of an event and they go, wow, that was immense. I had somebody come out of an event the other day and they go, my God, that was life changing. And someone else came to me and said, someone came over to me before, a few months ago, and they were crying and they gave me a hug and they said, thank you so much for having this space, because I come to classes every couple of weeks and it's really helped me on my journey to healing.
You've answered one of my questions, because that was actually one of my questions. I was basically going to say, have you had when you sort of say a before and after scenario? Do you know what I mean? Someone's come in like this, and then they've come back to you after and said whatever, and they're just a different person, and you've more or less answered that. Go into that again. Tell me.
Yeah, so I think because of the events that we have here and the things that we do, people come to us with physical issues. They come to us with emotional problems, or they could be facing severe anxiety. I had one guy come in quite young, and he was like, I am so anxious. I've got anxiety problems. I've never done anything like the events that you do here, but I wanted to come and try it because I'm facing this anxiety. And he was with us for about, I haven't seen him for ages actually, but he was doing things with us for probably about 4 or 5 months. And he sat down with me one day and he said, my anxiety is next to nothing in comparison to how it was. It was so bad, and now he's like, I can manage it and I don't really feel anxiety very often at all, and it's not that blinding panic attack anxiety. And he said that's because of the sessions that I come to here. And that's the kind of thing that you just go, that when I'm having a bad week, when the rent's due and perhaps things have been a bit tight financially, or I get a bill in for electricity at $2,500 or something that I wasn't expecting, and you go, gee, it's a horrible week. and then you get something like that, and you get somebody say that, that is
makes it all
absolutely incredible, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help people. We're here to like transform. We're here to, you know, help people heal and release trauma and empower. And when you get this kind of feedback of people saying, "Oh, that's what, you know, that's what's happened to me here," you do go, "That's incredible." I mean, that's not down to me. That's down to the practitioners that are holding the sessions and people's own willingness to heal. We're just providing a safe space for them to do that, where they can surrender. And the more that you feel safe to do these things, the more you'll get out of them.
And then there's that person that hugged you. That person said that, you know, they liked you having this kind of place in general. It's needed. It matters. She's been other places and it hasn't worked for her.
Well, yeah, we have people kind of, then that happens. That does happen, you know, every so often, that people just sort of say, like, you know, I've changed so much, or I've healed so much, or, you know, we have people that come out of one class and go, "Oh my God, that was life changing," you know. So we have the best community. Like, obviously, I'm going to say that, but we have the best community. The people that come here are so delightful. They're so lovely, and we are so lucky.
Wow. I don't even know what to tell you. I just feel so kind of excited for you. You know what I mean? Even though it's not even my organisation, it's all yours. And I think you're definitely doing an amazing thing. And it is a sanctuary, because I've heard about other sanctuaries. I've heard about a place called The Sanctuary. And I kind of like wondered, how does Yon, you know, relate to that one? Is Yon different from that kind of a place? Because there's some.
What's it called?
I'm almost certain there's a place called The Sanctuary in London somewhere. Not quite sure where. I think that's in
Covent Garden. Yeah. So I think, like, we differ from other kind of sanctuaries quite significantly in that other places are kind of offering lovely kind of things like, you know, massages, and they're offering sort of, you know, lovely products and exfoliation things, and, you know, pre-pregnancy like luxurious, you know, treatments for mums to be, and lovely things like that. And we don't really do any of that. So ours isn't like a spa. Ours is very much like, you come here for community, you come here for, you know, healing events that are empowering or releasing trauma, or learning something in the esoteric world, or you know, you're coming to get sound healing because you know, you might have anxiety or whatever it is, right? Or just because you want to, or because you want to learn tarot, or you want to speak to somebody like a clairvoyant. We do that too. You know, so we've got all of these.
I didn't notice that on the site, actually.
We've got all of these different things.
I did notice a clairvoyant. I'm going to put that in my mind. I did notice that. I think it might be something you're not really advertising big time today in this conversation, that you have 2 wellness rooms. 2 rooms. We do. What sizes are there? I think you said one you could actually put a massage bed in or something.
Yeah, that's what we
could be used for. I think you said therapy, and I thought that's really good, because I remember the NHS. You know, a lot of people these days, organisations, a lot of the staff are working from home. Not all of them. There's a hybrid situation where some work from home a little bit and work in an office. But of course, if some organisations are sort of, you know, getting rid of the sort of buildings, especially places like NHS, there's going to be times where they sort of like need a therapy room.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What's the sizes of your room? What are your rooms for? What are the sizes of the rooms? I didn't notice the sizes.
So we've got 2 rooms. So one of them is I don't even know what the actual dimensions are, but I'm not great at that sort of stuff. But one of them, you can get like a massage bed in there, because we do a lot of Reiki. So we do a lot of like energy healing and stuff like that. So people do that in these sessions if they're having a one-to-one. Okay, so obviously we've got the group events, but then we've got the one-to-ones. The one-to-ones take place in what we call our wellness suites. So we have the Reiki taking place in one of these rooms kind of a few times a week, and it's got a massage bed, and it's got a desk, and it's got a couple of chairs. Then in the other wellness suite, we've just got a table and 2 chairs, which is more for like talking therapy, or it might be for like tarot card readings, things like that.
I see. So that's where the tarot card reading will take place in there.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it might be like a therapy room because with the NHS they sort of do that group therapy type thing. Certain teams, the thing actually called talking therapy is funny enough, actually got a team called that.
Absolutely.
And there might be 10, 15, 20 people sometimes. That's why I was wondering on the size.
In which case, so if it's like group stuff, then we obviously would use the studio.
Right. Okay. And I looked at the prices, they're quite reasonable. I mean, many years ago, I did something to do with hair, long story. This is about 2015. And I remember trying to get a reasonably priced venue. And I remember I ended up only having to have it for a certain number of hours to get the price sort of quite down. But I noticed, I don't know, I could be getting it wrong, because maybe it might be something you probably need to update or whatever. It was like £150. I looked at your site, and it was it a day? 150 for the whole day?
9 hours, 150. That's right.
That is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
That area.
Thank you. Yeah, because we are right by, and this is what's so ironic, is that you started, your BT career where we met in Old Street. We're right near Old Street Station. So we're equidistant between Old Street, Liverpool Street, and Shoreditch.
Oh, right. Wow.
In terms of stations. Yeah, so we're opposite Gloria's on Great Eastern Street.
I keep trying to visualise where you are, because I remember, because funny enough, when I left BT eventually, I ended up working in an organisation called Redstone in Old Street, funny enough.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So I was always in Hoxton, that kind of area. We used to sort of like go lunch there. There's always like somewhere like a wine bar-y type place, place for them to go after work and stuff. So you're not overly far from Hoxton, are you? Because Shoreditch isn't overly far from
We're a minute and a half walking from Hoxton Square.
Wow. It's a really lovely area as well. And your place looks like it looks like a curiosity shop.
Well, this is the other thing as well.
Just have to venture into and go. And I bet you when you walk in there, it's like you've been in another world.
It is a bit like that. It is a bit like that. But I would also when I had the idea for Fire Alchemy, and I was a bit like, it's a little bit new agey. We sell tarot cards, we sell crystals, but I was like, I don't want it to be like one of those new age shops that you walk into and you're wafting incense smoke out of your eyes, and it's just like a bit of a bric-a-brac. Everything's everywhere. There's no structure to it or anything like that. So when you walk in, we've got like 3 massive chandeliers, we've got floor to ceiling windows, we've got velvet seats, we've got sort of really like beautiful aesthetics, and it is quite like it's pretty plush. It's not just like a normal shop, like you walk in and it's all velvet and chandeliers. Like it's pretty nice. So yeah, it definitely doesn't look kind of, I guess, like those kind of I didn't want it to look like a kind of traditional, a traditional shop like that.
So it's very upmarket looking. Oh, but have you had any famous clients come in? Obviously not with any names or anything, but it looks like a type of place that a famous person or famous people would venture.
Yeah, we've had a few actors that people would know.
And the other thing I think as well is that it looks like a kind of place where they'll use it for filming. Yeah,
funny you should say that. So we do filming. We were actually on ITV's Ferne and I can't remember what it's called. What's the reality show with Ferne McCann?
Oh,
My Family and Me. It's My Family and Me.
Oh,
we were.
Wow.
Yeah, so we
I
were.
actually didn't know that. Seriously, I'm just saying things off the cuff.
Yeah, it's so funny
as we speak.
Wow. Yeah, so we were on that. That was a few months ago, but we were part of that. That was really cool. We had people that kind of film podcasts and stuff that are really, really well known.
It looks like that kind of a place. It just looks different. It's not kind of like, I suppose in its day, like Apple, those kind of places look really techy and smart and chic and whatnot. But I don't know, there's a nice style to the website as well. The way that whoever's done the website has done it amazingly. And like the colours are nice as well. I like the kind of like, it's like a green and then it's like the gold letters, it just looks like it's like you're abroad. That's the way it looks when you look at it from online.
Oh, thank you.
You're an amazing thing. You're an amazing person, Rachel, and you are doing.
Thank you, Val.
For people.
That's so kind.
And that's, where can people find you if you wanted to sort of, make sure people know exactly where you are? I'm going to obviously put your address in the description as well, your website address.
Thank you.
But give me more.
I think if people want to engage with us, the best place to do that is probably Instagram. So we are at fire_and_alchemy. That is us on Instagram. So there's lots of engagement going on on Instagram, which is brilliant. Obviously, you can find me on LinkedIn. That's more for the corporate stuff. And my name is Rachel Drysdale, and Fire Alchemy is its own account as well on LinkedIn. And then you've obviously got the website as well, and people can get in touch with us through the website. or just pop in. Like, just popping in is probably the best way to experience us, and try a cacao or try a class, or just to come to one of our community events. We have tons of community events. We do a lot of charity events, but we also really want to get the kind of wellbeing and alternative or holistic wellbeing community together. So we do monthly community events.
Cool. And I notice you do some of your classes online as well.
We do, yeah, we do. We have got a really strong sort of online presence, really.
Cool. I think I might even try that myself. One of the things I was just going to mention to you was sort of zooming back to BT, and the thing that I tried to find was a card that you gave me. I actually kept it all of these years.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember which way round it was. Was it when you were leaving? Or was like, it must have been when you were leaving. You gave me a card. I think I gave you a card, a leaving card. I'm sure I gave you a gift and whatnot. And I remember we were both quite tearful because we just got on, so well. And I do remember reading your card, and I was actually in tears. I actually feel quite upset about it now.
What? Can you remember what it said?
I remember you saying really good things about me, about working hard.
Yeah.
And one thing I do remember you saying was that you're going to put a cosmic order in for me. And that's really odd, because speaking about what we're speaking about now, I never knew about this cosmic side of you whatsoever until 20 years later. And I really have that card in front of me so I can actually read your words to you right now. But knowing me, when we finish this, something's going to happen. It's going to be like, I've turned something over and that card's going to probably be there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that card was amazing. But yeah, you said you're going to put a cosmic ordering for me. And if you're going to do that now, what would it be for?
Oh my goodness. If I was putting in a cosmic order for you right now.
Yes.
Freedom, health. I genuinely believe that health is wealth. And I think, freedom and health is probably my cosmic order for you. And that, everything you desire kind of comes to life, and you achieve everything you want to achieve in life. And, and that, anything that you need to heal gets healed.
Cool. And ditto, girl. I'm just wishing you health, wealth, happiness.
Thank you.
And success.
Thank you so much.
Rachel, all right, Drysdale, whatever you want to call yourself. Call yourself amazing.
She's got goosebumps. Ferne McCann, how are you, darling? Oh, you look amazing, Hagen.
Hagen Fox is an amazing astrologer. I'm hoping he's going to shed some light on the girls' personalities and their spirituality, which also might offer me a bit of guidance on how to manage them.
You know what? I think we should start with Binti, because people say to me, oh, Ferne, she's so calm. And I'm like, she's very spiritual.